Your songs, your station. We're the new 97.5 The Hills, and it's Tuesday, and that means we're talking with Tracy Bernard from Black Hills Woman Magazine. Tracy, how you doing?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. Well, I have a little question here. I guess it's about double standards, but I'll get to it. And it's kind of I just saw this article, and then I also got an email, kind of a similar thing, basically saying, you know, when you get text messages or emails, that kind of stuff, and there's the little emoticons or the smiley faces on there, right? Now, some guys tend to do that a lot, you know, and some guys don't. And I'm just kind of I'm not one of these guys that is, oh, well, real men don't do that. And, you know, if you're a man, you do what you want to do, and that's it, right? But is that kind of weird? I mean, like smiley faces and happy faces and all those things for men to be sending those a lot in say, text messages and emails at work. If a woman does that, it's okay. Men, there's a little question to it, right?
Right. Well, and it goes both ways. I think women are expected, and if you don't put lots of exclamation points behind thanks and your smiley faces or whatever, you can be maybe considered a little bit
rhymes with which,
word?
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You know, whereas guys can be like, hey, send me that report. Nobody thinks anything of that.
Right. You're not being rude. You're being thorough or businesslike, right?
Yeah. So let's break this down a little bit, because there is a double standard, but there is also a place. You know, emails. I mean, the nice thing about emoticons is that you can't read body language, you can't make eye contact, you can't hear their tone, and so oftentimes you're going, where's this person coming from on this statement?
Sure.
An emoticon does what it says. It could put a little emotion to it, so you know where they're standing, or they're saying what face they'd be making,
right?
And help you sort of decipher the tone of an email a little bit.
And I think that does help. I mean, yeah, you're right. If there are plenty of people that when you see something, you think, Jesus, what mood is this in? Should I be upset right now, or should I just go and take care of it? And, you know,
right.
I mean, it is business a lot of times, and people are busy, right? And so sometimes you might read a little bit too much into it.
Sure.
And an emoticon might actually kind of break that down a little bit.
And it can sugarcoat an insult.
Sure, absolutely. They are a little passive aggressive, aren't they?
They can be.
I think they
Absolutely.
can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But do you think though that I'm not one to say that it's less manly, but I guess I am kind of saying that. I mean, I don't want to be saying that.
I'm hearing that.
But
what you're saying.
I am saying that in a way. You know, I don't.
But
know.
it's part of that double standard. I mean, we're raised that way. Do I throw in a few extra smiley faces and exclamation points because I definitely want to be perceived as someone who's friendly and nice? Of course I do.
Sure.
But sometimes I just want to send an email off too,
right.
and just get something done without having to, flower it all up. And if I were a guy, that wouldn't be an issue.
That is true.
Right?
That is true. I think that you're making a great point with that. But so do you think then that maybe some men are trying to, I don't know if it's this whole new culture of trying to be a little softer. So men are trying to kind of be a little calmer, a little cooler, and saying, okay, I'm not going to be so businesslike, and maybe that's a new management style or something, or a new work style.
Maybe, or maybe they've had enough email confusion, or someone misconstruing what they're saying in an email, where they're trying to avert that. They're trying to soften that up, and hey, yeah, I'm a nice guy, I'm working with you, I'm going to be easy to work with, that kind of thing.
Not be intimidating, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Sure.
I mean, there's a big difference between, sending an email that says, "Hi, Derek, can you send me that report? Thanks so much!" Exclamation point, smiley face, versus, "Derek, send me that report."
Right.
Thanks, Tracy.
Yes, and then there's
it's
something
just
to read
different
into
about
it.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't know. I think, I don't know. I'm trying to give people guidance on what would be appropriate, but I don't know that I know. I mean, whatever message you're trying to send.
I just think that maybe if people should just be aware of I mean, I don't know. I see people around here or other places that I've worked that isn't an issue at all. Like, it's not misconstrued at all. But then I do see it maybe as I just don't know. I think things seem to be changing a little bit, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But it just
Well,
still.
here's another question for
Okay.
you. Is too much cutesiness, like, I don't know, saying thanks or typing thanks but with an X? And this isn't, we're talking work emails here.
Mm-hmm.
Does it hurt your credibility? Too many smiley faces, too many exclamation points. People take you less seriously.
You know, me personally, I think that it does a little bit. If it's somebody that you're very close with and that's how they kind of are with everybody, I don't see that as a problem. But I think that if signing thanks with an X and those kinds of things, and it's business oriented, I do think it makes you look a little less professional.
Right.
I do think that.
Right. Or trying too hard.
Yes.
Maybe
either way is
fakey.
bad, I think.
Yeah, none of
either way
that's
is bad.
good. It's like how you wouldn't hug a complete stranger usually.
Right.
A little too familiar, too quick kind of thing. Interesting stuff. now I'm going to fret over every email today.
Right, absolutely. You have to edit them, right? Yeah. I don't know. So I guess what we're saying is that it's okay, but it may send the opposite message of what you might be trying to, or create your own problems. Like, yes, you're being friendly and perceived as being workable, but
Right.
you might also be being perceived as a little less capable.
Maybe the good rule of thumb is sincerity. If you're feeling it and you want to evoke it in an email, do that. But if you're overreaching and trying to be over friendly, or you're entering that fake zone,
Yeah.
pull back.
Just be truthful.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. But if you feel like throwing a smiley face in softens the criticism you just made, throw it in.
I mean, yeah, but just
if
one.
that's how you feel.
If that's how you
Yeah,
feel. If that's
yeah.
real for you,
Right.
then be that way. But
Right.
don't think that you have to be anyway, overreach, just like you're saying, right?
Right.
All right. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit. We've talked about this before, a little bit about living wills and that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about an article that is in the latest issue of Black Hills Woman magazine. We're going to do that when we come back.
Perfect.
Your songs, your station. We're the new 97.5 The Hills, and we're talking with Tracy Bernard from Black Hills Woman magazine and the new Downtown magazine as well. We kind of touched on this, an article in the latest issue maybe 2 weeks ago or so about having a living will and estate planning and that kind of stuff, and how a lot of women who are mainly single women who are younger maybe think that that's not something that they need. It's not something that you would even consider worrying about until you're in your 50s. A great article in the latest issue saying, no, that's something you should probably start to take care of now, because you never know, right, when things could happen, right?
Yeah, a lot of folks in their early 20s don't really even think about that, and that this applies to them in any way, for a variety of reasons. They think they're too young and too healthy to die. They don't have anything.
Right.
Or they think it'll be an expensive process. So there's a lot of obstacles in the way, and the 20-something folks don't tend to get on a will, particularly in the early 20s.
And truthfully, even people that are in their, early 30s without kids, or unmarried, they don't think about that. But it is something that, and in this latest edition, there's the article talks about some of the excuses that people come up with and some of the reasons that they think, oh, well, I don't need to do that because.
Well, and Kathleen Fox is the writer of this article, and what she does is she lays out the typical arguments that the 20-somethings make, and then talks about why that's really not the case. For example, you can't afford to make a will. It's really not that expensive.
You can go online, as a matter of fact, now, right?
Yeah, you can. There's a lot of tools out there, and it can be fairly quick and easy, and not very expensive.
Right.
The other thing is once you're 18, nobody has legal rights to your stuff, your bank accounts, access to student loan information, maybe getting into your apartment if you're leasing an apartment. So, your loved ones, if something were to happen to you, they're already reeling from coping with your loss.
Right.
You can either make it easier for them to deal with your belongings and your accounts and your any legal scenario you have, or you can make it harder, and it's just sort of a kind thing to do to
Absolutely,
not make that harder.
The last thing that you want to do is if they're mourning, and yet now they have to go through red tape because you didn't sign off on something and they don't have legal right to do that kind of stuff.
Right.
It really does make a huge
Right.
difference.
And it's not a little bit of red tape. It can be quite difficult.
a lot, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that's one that you hear a lot about. Well, I don't have any stuff. I don't really have anything. But it isn't necessarily about that. It's sort of kind of tying up loose ends, right?
That's right.
So again, that's a great idea. And again, probably, something I didn't realize until I read the article was that, you can find those forms online, and it is pretty simple, really. It's not something that, people, I don't know, you think, oh, geez, I have to go and sit in a lawyer's office and I have to write down everything that I own and who gets this and who gets that,
Right.
like you're watching a sitcom, the inheritance reading, that kind of stuff,
At a minimum, give people permissions.
Right.
If you don't want to put that much thought into it, and, you don't feel like this is important or an issue, at a minimum, just get some permissions down in a legal way so that people can actually take care of things for you.
Very good. And there's a few more tips in there, too, with some other things that people will say, well, I don't need that. And you can always read that and again, Kathleen Fox is the author of that. She does a great job.
Right.
So go check that out. That is in the latest issue of Black Hills Woman magazine. All sorts of cool stuff in there. We talked a little bit about colored denim, right? Or we talked about that. Yeah, that's in there as well as some great Chardonnays recipe or things that go well in local Chardonnays and that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool.
And what is the color of denim you're going to be purchasing next?
I'm going to be buying some blue, some red.
Red,
How about
nice.
Bright red. How
nice.
about that?
Skinny jeans?
Yeah, skinny, very skinny. Yeah. All right. Thank you for noticing. Yeah. All right. Tracy, thanks so much for joining us again today. And again, the latest issue of Black Hills Woman magazine is out there now. And if people want to find locations where they can find that, they can always go to your website, which is
blackhillswoman.com.
And the new Downtown magazine out as well. And you can find that by going to...
Any business downtown has this publication.
Okay.
So go patronize their stores, even better.
Go and hang out
But you
downtown.
can also visit downtownrapidcity.com.
Hey, on Sunday, this was kind of funny. Speaking of being downtown, I was out walking, and I found there were 2 stormtroopers downtown. Just walking around.
Star
It's like
Wars?
Star Wars stormtroopers. Just 2 guys dressed as stormtroopers walking around downtown.
I love it.
I stopped and got my picture taken with them and everything. It was,
And what were they doing?
they were looking for droids.
And did you
And I
tell
told
them
them
these
these
were
weren't
not
the
the
ones they're
droids
looking
you were
for.
looking
That's
for?
exactly right. I did.
Nice.
All right. So you never know what's going to be going on downtown,
That's right.
All right. Hey, Tracy, thanks so much for coming in. And again, people can always check out your Facebook page as well. There's always some cool stuff going on there. And we'll talk to you next week, okay?
Okay.